We don't know.
Speaking of family friendly, welcome to Colorado Inside Postgame, a special web exclusive production here on Channel 12. Let's get a quick take on all the cities making their bid to host the 2016 RNC convention this last week, including Denver and, of course, Dallas, which made the big headlines. Patty Calhoun from Westward, we didn't roll out big elephants, and I don't think we had many cheerleaders there like Dallas did. They made it an actual circus. Who has the edge at this point, and what do you think of how the cities have rolled out the red carpet so far?
Well, we only had Thunder the horse as a celebrity, although we do have Pete Coors, and that means a lot of beer, so that's not going to hurt. If the Republicans really want an over-the-top convention, it looks like Dallas is going to be the front runner, especially because Dallas has a lot of cash. And they are, the RNC is pretty upfront that money is ultimately going to make the difference. Any one of these cities can handle it, they say, even though only Denver has had a post 9/11 convention. But it's going to be up to who can do it and who will bring in the money. And it's going to be a very, very pricey one. I thought Denver looked pretty good. At least we had good weather. There were no hailstorms. There were no tornadoes during it. I don't think they were accosted by pot-smoking bums on the 16th Street Mall. But the pot issue always comes up. So I don't know if they got free pot, you know, the Maureen Dowd chocolate bars as they were leaving. But I think Denver has an okay chance. But if they go for money, they're going for Dallas.
David Kopel from the Independence Institute and DU Law School. Is it strictly money, or does the whole marijuana thing tilt this for other cities because of our law here in Colorado?
Well, if they're so upset about marijuana that they wouldn't even have their convention in a state where the voters have chosen to legalize it, and according to the election results, marijuana is more popular in Colorado than Obama. Because one causes this initial high and then leads to depression and unemployment in the long term. If they're that intolerant, then they're not going to be winning anyway. They're going to win in 2016, if they do, by picking a lot up independent voters, including ones who are in favor of smaller government. In terms of spectacle, you can say you can never beat Texas, and there's something truth to that. On the other hand, if we use our resources right, look, they had elephants at their little show for the Republicans. We could open the Republican convention with a cattle drive, like we do at the beginning of the stock show. And there's no major convention city in the country that can do a cattle drive better than Denver. And for the nominees' acceptance speech, we have the Greek columns already. You can do the Colossus of Rhodes Redux, and Mile High Stadium's already ready for it, and they know they can produce it.
I got to believe we're going to be getting quick phone calls from people wanting you on the RNC committee because those are brilliant ideas, especially the cattle drive. I love that. Ed Sealiver from the Denver Business Journal. Do you think Colorado's in a place to raise the $60 million needed for this convention?
It's the question that's really laying out there. Right now they've raised $11 million. The RNC leader said when they were in town this week that is in line with what everyone else is doing right now. Does Denver want to give again? And I really do get the sense that's the biggest question in front of Denver. Look, this is just me. I really got the feel in listening to them speak that Denver might be slightly the front runner going into this because of the security concerns and because of the transportation concerns. The fact that they would have everyone, not everyone, but most of the delegates staying within walking distance of the Pepsi Center would be a huge event as well. I think this is where Pete Coors really has to step up. If he can convince 19% of Americans to drink his beer, then he should be able to convince 13 selection site committee members that he can raise that money. And the other thing is they don't have to raise the $60 million is what the RNC wants. They don't have to raise $60 million from within Denver. They only need to get about 30 of it there, because once they win the bid, whatever city this is, they can call all of the national corporations that are giving to both conventions just to make sure they stay in everyone's good stead and pull off a lot of funding in that. Do I think Denver can do it? Yes, because they've done it before. It's interesting that Denver has said we're not going to use taxpayer money, where other cities have not promised that. But as much as I tried to needle the RNC officials about that, they said that isn't a factor in this either. So we're going to have to wait to see, but I still think it might be coming here.
Susan Green, editor of ColoradoIndependent.com. In conventions past, we had the 2008 one. It was attractive that Colorado was a purple state. Obviously, Texas does not have that emblem. Do you think that's still an attractive point for a convention, or is that just way down the list of factors for this situation?
I think the factors are way more about what Ed was talking about: infrastructure, security, funding. I think it's hard for me to put myself in the minds of the RNC and what they're actually making their decisions on, what factors. But if, in fact, we're all talking about fracking and local control in 2016, it should be noted that Dallas, where all the oil executives live, has far more tough anti-fracking laws than pretty much anywhere in Colorado. And so if we're still talking about that in 2016, I think that will be an interesting conversation, especially among the Republicans.
So this should make it interesting. You're absolutely right. That's all the time we have for Colorado Inside Out postgame this week. Leave us a comment. Tell us what you think. For everyone here at CPT12.org, I'm Dominic Dezzutti. Thanks for watching.